Hi everybody, it's Amy here. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and for continuing the journey with me on self-development tips in 10 minutes or less. I'm excited about what we'll talk about today. We're going to unpack tools, skills, or habits that you can work on to allow yourself to always be improving, because you might be curious about how do you make sure that you prioritize self-development and that you always make time to be the best version of yourself. So I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can do this. So let's dive into the first one. The very first one is embracing curiosity like a badge of honor. Think about the things that you are naturally curious about and let your curiosity run the show in a way. If you think about it, when you're curious about something, it's that natural spark of motivation that you need to get going on something, to dive deep into getting to understand it, to learn more about it. Curiosity is so important because it's natural, it's within us, and it can be a very easy guide to allow yourself to learn more about certain things, areas, skills, or hobbies. So for example, I always wanted to help people even when I was pretty young. And so I was naturally curious about social work, psychology, and criminology, and I studied those things. And then I realized I was most curious about psychology, so I followed that. And then that led me to being curious about how I can actionably help people in the way that I enjoyed, which was around positive psychology, and that led me to coaching. I was also extremely curious about yoga and the history behind it and the philosophy behind it. So I studied it and I became a yoga teacher too. And I'm also curious about Pilates and strengthening the body, and I am going to do a Pilates teacher training next year. So think about the things that you are curious about and follow that. Let that be a guide, because it's going to be an easy motivator at the start, and it's also so uniquely you and authentically you. It helps you to follow what actually is interesting even when nobody else is telling you what you should do. Next, let's talk about the importance of knowing your values and what will actually serve you. So firstly, knowing your values is so vital for a number of reasons, but especially if you want to always continuously be working on yourself. Because if you're aware of your values, and remember, we aren't static, we continuously improve, we continuously shift, things happen, we change. And so values that we may not have brought to the surface a few years back might be really top of mind now. So it's important to make this a regular practice, to be aware of what your values are and how much you're living up to them. Because the moment you're aware of what your values are, you might realize, I have a value of kindness, but how much do I actually live up to my value in my day-to-day actions? This shows you where there may be gaps between your values and how you are actually living out your life according to them or not. So this can really help and guide where your self-improvement might need to be. It might need to be in actually making your values show up in your actions. And very similar to this is really understanding what you're good at, what you might want to be good at, and how it might help you, because you don't want to spend time learning about something or improving on something that you're not good at, that you don't want to be good at, and that's not going to serve you in any way. So just make sure that whatever you do invest your time in, you might be curious about it, so there's natural excitement there, that it aligns with your values in some kind of way, and that you might already be a bit good at it, so you want to improve it, or you want to be very good at it, or it's going to serve you in your work, in your personal life, in your hobby, whatever it is, it's going to serve you in some way. So just remember that. And I got this idea of trying to stay as much as you can in your zone of genius from Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap, where he speaks about don't waste time on things that you don't want to be good at, that you aren't good at, or that won't serve you in some kind of way. Lastly, let's talk about the importance of measuring your progress and celebrating your milestones. Firstly, whatever you do, however you improve, however you move forward on your self-development journey, you're curious about it, aligns with your values, and it serves you, make sure that you have a way of measuring your progress. It doesn't have to be super stringent, and it definitely depends on what you choose to do. For example, my yoga teaching course was inherently measurable because it was a course that you could see where you were in the course and how much of the course you had done. So some things like that are quite measurable, but when I wanted to improve my fitness, I needed to come up with that measure. I needed to tick off days on a calendar so that in the beginning I was exercising 3 times a week, and maybe that moved up to 4, and so on and so on. But for a good 8 months, I used to tick off every day that I exercised so that you have some sort of measure of your progress and how you're doing. So you can do it that way, or you can even ask for feedback. If it's something related to your work or other people, they may be able to see progress from their perspective. You can regularly ask for feedback. Or if it's quite a personal thing, you can regularly reflect on your progress. Maybe every week, maybe every 2 weeks, you give yourself a bit of time where you can reflect on your progress in a chosen area. Maybe it's on public speaking, maybe it's on being more sociable, whatever it is. Wherever you choose to improve, think of a way of measuring it, because it really helps to keep you on track, and it really helps to see how much you have actually succeeded and how much you have progressed, which is extremely uplifting. Very similar to this is actually celebrating your wins or your milestones. So naturally there are smaller milestones and then there are bigger ones. I might celebrate my first year of university, which was a relatively smaller milestone, and then I might also celebrate my entire degree of university, or I could even celebrate writing one test. Whatever it is, again, it differs depending on what you're actually doing. So you might have to be creative if you don't have milestones that are embedded in whatever you choose to do or wherever you choose to improve. You might have to come up with your own, but celebrate the small wins and celebrate the big wins. Celebrate the small wins however you want to. Maybe a nice dinner, maybe treating yourself to something, and then maybe for the bigger wins you can invite a few friends and you can all celebrate it. You can go out. The important part of this is that time doesn't just pass you by and you just let every day be like the other day, and you don't take the time to actually realize all that you're doing to work on yourself. We want to be able to actually appreciate our moments, appreciate our progress, and appreciate ourselves for the extra effort and time that we've put in to a certain journey to achieve an outcome. We could have easily spent that time doing anything else, watching TV, going on our phone, going on Instagram, going on TikTok, and we didn't. We rather used that time to learn something new, to develop ourselves and to improve. So reward yourself for that. You totally deserve it. Make an event of it and have smaller milestones and bigger milestones. So there you have it. I shared some skills, tools, and habits that you can work on to ensure that you always prioritize working on yourself and developing yourself, but in a way that's true to you because you follow your curiosity, and in a way that serves you because you're aware of your values and what this journey that you are going on is actually leading you towards. And lastly, you have a way to measure your progress and celebrate your wins, because that helps you feel like you're not just on a treadmill going on and on, but that you appreciate every milestone you reach. So thank you so much for watching. I'd love to read any thoughts or questions that you might have. You're most welcome to leave them in the comments down below, and please do give this video a like and a thumbs up, and also please do subscribe, because I really enjoy sharing ideas like these. And maybe even if one of you watches this and you feel like it has helped you in some way or given you an idea on something, then I feel really fulfilled in that.